Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another review. This one is of the movie that came out this weekend called I.S.S. Stands for International Space Station, in case you didn't know that. This is a thriller set at the International Space Station, which is in space, in case you didn't know. Yeah, and it's about a team of 6 astronauts, 3 Russian, 3 American, who are on board the ISS when they get a message from their home country saying, we are at war, do whatever you can to take control of the ISS. And things go from there. The premise of this movie is kind of great. The idea that there are 6 people in space and there's no way out. You're all stuck in this station. That is a really interesting idea. And it's a really compelling idea. And it's an idea that, unfortunately, I don't think this movie necessarily fully goes along with, necessarily. It doesn't fully work. I would say the first half of this movie was a lot better than the second half. About the halfway point of this movie, I started getting bored. And it's only an hour and a half long movie. It felt like 2 hours long. It felt much longer than it actually was. Like, the beginning of this movie, it felt at least somewhat realistic. Towards the middle, it started getting cartoony and definitely not accurate anymore. And I will say this, they're not bad special effects. But, you know, having watched Gravity 10 years ago, literally over 10 years ago at this point now, I can't believe the movie's 10 years old. Like, I was just disappointed by the special effects in this movie. To be fair, there's really not that many special effects like this one that's behind me, where they're, like, outside the space station. There's only a few moments. It really does take place essentially inside the space station, which is really awesome. In a sense, because, you know, I just love movies that are taking place in one location and you just can't escape. I think that makes for a really thrilling movie. And there are some thrilling moments in this movie. It's just like what I said. It gets a little cartoony towards the end. And not only that, but very predictable. There's something happens with a character and I went, well, and they assume something with this character. And I went, well, that's not actually what's going to happen. And then I kind of assumed, and then something else happens. Again, I don't want to spoil anything, but something else happens with 2 characters. I'm like, and the one character thinks one thing, and the character actually wasn't thinking that thing correctly. And there's like a twist, and I just guessed everything as it happened. And then I was right about the person, the one person that they thought. And then it just kind of ends for that person. So what was the point of that person? It's just very frustrating because I predicted everything that was going to happen in this movie. Literally everything. And I feel like I'm kind of dumb when it comes to movies sometimes. I don't guess what's going to happen necessarily. I just guessed everything. I went, that character is going to do that. That character is going to think that, but that's not actually what was thought or what is actually correct. That person was actually being genuine. And I knew everything was going to happen, and so it got boring and formulaic. I also thought the cinematography in this movie was just kind of bland. The camera's just kind of sitting there floating, which I guess it's space, so it should feel like that in a sense. But at the same time, it didn't work for me all the time. I also felt like at times that the actors were just kind of standing there and just bouncing up and down like they were floating. It didn't feel like they were actually like zero gravity kind of thing. Like, it felt like there was a lot of times where it did work. It looked like they're on wires, and they actually did have that feel. But there was a couple other times where I'm just like, you are literally just bobbing up and down right now. And it just looks really bad. Maybe that's just me, I don't know. But yeah, that's just kind of how I felt a few times while watching this movie. This movie by no means is bad.
Dishes that didn't get cleaned?
No, I don't know that feeling, and I don't care. We're just going to take that off. So yeah, I don't hate this movie, but at the same time, it's very forgettable. Just kind of bland and boring. He's chewing a tennis ball, by the way. We can't see him. Oh, there he is. Chewing on a tennis ball. because he likes to chew on his toys. I can't keep toys for more than a day with him. So yeah, I just kind of felt like it was a little bland, a little boring, very predictable. But it was fine. It's a January movie that's not a complete piece of crap. I mean, that's saying something, I guess, right? So yeah, as far as the rating goes, I'm gonna go 5 out of 10 on this one. I don't see myself watching this ever again. I didn't think there was anything special or original really about this. And it wasn't that thrilling at the end of the day because I knew everything was going to happen. And that's unfortunate when it's a thriller. So yeah, 5 out of 10. I wish I would have liked this one a little bit more because I like the idea a lot. So yeah, guys, that is my review. I hope you guys have a great night. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, and I should have my top 10 up real soon. I said sometime this weekend, and that didn't happen. But it's going to happen this week, I promise. It's already been started. So I hope you guys have a great night. Don't do anything I would do. We'll see you next time.